Hello, hello. I am Cassie Brown, and I am thrilled to welcome you to the Amplify My Impact podcast. After years of consulting and managing programs for some of the top entrepreneurs, CEOs, and marketers in the industry, I am on a mission to expand our contribution, to grow, scale, and create more so we can do and give more. This podcast celebrates entrepreneurs who are boldly stepping up to own their calling, expand their influence, and stretch outside their comfort zone, who've decided to stop playing it small, pick up the mantle of contribution, and serve at a higher level, to lead by example and light the way for others. If that's you, then get ready to amplify. There's a fire that burns inside your soul, and we're going to ignite it into a roaring blaze of unstoppable momentum. I think there is a direct correlation with those who have a heart for impact and to serve, and an uncomfortableness with sales. And I think there's a way that we can redefine that, mission-driven mindset, and maybe even flip the script on ourselves with how we can leverage sales to ultimately accomplish our goal, because they go together. But I think a lot of times people pit them against one another, and we have to choose instead of leveraging them together.
You're so right on. It's funny, we were talking about Sarah just a minute ago, but I went to Dallas and I spoke at Sarah's event, and her thing, it's all photographers, and these are these artsy, crafty, amazing type people, and the idea of selling somebody something freaks them out. They're oh my gosh, I can't sell anything because what one time a salesperson took advantage of me, or one time this happened, or like you watch the movies and it's always like the greasy car salesman. And there is nothing that could be further from the truth about what sales, what they are and what they do for people. If I have a talent, a skill, a service, a product, and I don't think it matters who you are in the world. I think every single person has a superpower. Every single person has something that they can share. Every single person out in the world has something that they can monetize. And if it's your goal in this world to make an impact and to serve people, it's your moral duty and obligation to get that out to the world. And if you don't charge for it, there's no value. It's not worth anything. And your superpowers are worth something. And so what I've done, and I do this with a lot of people that are brand new in sales, and sometimes people who have been in sales for a really, really long time, is you talk about flipping the script. And we hear the word sales, and what's funny about sales, you look up the word sales in Webster's dictionary, and it's got like these awful negative connotations to it. And I'm just like, no, it's like the coolest thing in the world. Sales are all about, if I can look at it and say, how can I serve and help that person that I'm talking to, and how can I help them to get whatever it is that they want? Kind of go back to that old Zig Ziglar quote that I can have whatever I want if I help enough people get exactly what it is that they want. That now it's all about, I'm not selling you anything. I have a product or service, and if my marketing has been done right, the people that I'm talking to, my product, my service, my genius, whatever it is just going to help those people to progress and to become better and to help them out. And so if somebody is ever looking at sales and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm scared of sales, and I'm scared of asking somebody for money or the close, or whatever we want to call it. If I'll look at it and say, how can I help that person? How can I give them the most value possible? And if I can really, truly make it more about the other person that I'm communicating with, that I'm talking about, rather than me or my bank account or the next sale or my progress, your sales are just going to naturally come. And your sales are going to become so much bigger and better because you're entirely focused on how can I help and serve the other person. And sometimes helping and serving the other person means you don't sell them anything because it's not a good fit for them. And you've got to be okay with that in your heart, to look at it and say, if I believe that my product can really help serve this person and help them to become better and help them to progress in their goals and their dreams and their hopes, I have to give them my product and they have to give me money for it. If I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, this isn't going to help this person, this is the wrong fit, they have no business doing this, or whatever it is. If I had and I'm going to be dramatic, but a pregnancy course, and a man wanted to come in and take my pregnancy course to help me to have a more effective pregnancy, and it's all based and designed around the woman, you're not, and the guy's like, yeah, sure, I'll give you $1,000 for it. You're not serving the guy at all by taking his money. And so if I'm looking at it, how can I best serve the person that I'm communicating with, whether it's face-to-face or on Zoom or on a phone call or however it is, how can I best serve them? And then if my product or my service is going to help benefit them, it is your moral duty and obligation to sell them that product. And if you don't, you're letting them down, but more importantly, you're letting yourself down, and your impact, your vision, the ability to expand who you are out in the world, if you don't if you don't sell that. I don't know if that's enough of a paradigm shift to switch it from, hey, I'm doing sales, to, hey, I'm not doing sales, I'm helping people.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. And that is the gap that we have to bridge.
I mean, when you look at it and you think, hey, this is my impact in the world that I'm doing with Amplify, and you have people who come to you that you know that you can help, it doesn't become hard. Why is that easier to help them or to sell them if all you're doing is looking at it and saying, how can I help you as part of my mission?
Right.
And if you'll do that all the time, it becomes really simple, and you're not selling, and you're not greasy, and you're not manipulating, you're just helping people out.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's go down that path, and let me do a quick introduction so everyone knows who you are and what you do and how amazingly awesome. So welcome everybody. If you haven't by now figured out and recognized the incredible voice of Robbie Summers, he is head of sales of ClickFunnels, and I'm sure he has a more official title than that. But when you think ClickFunnels and you think community and sales, and when they are totally committed to the outcome of every product and service that they bring to the table, that is the level of integrity that Robbie not only brings to his job, but to the department and to the culture that he cultivates there. So it's been my personal pleasure to work directly with him and many projects with ClickFunnels, as you know, on the student side, on the coaching side, and just as a user and a friend. He's just incredible to be with us today, sharing his knowledge of service and sales and flipping the script. So what you heard is sort of like our discussion of where this interview is going to go. And so I'm really, really excited to dive into this topic with you, Robbie.
I'm so excited, and I am so flattered and grateful for your friendship as well. You are, you're just an amazing person, and everybody that jumps on your podcast and listens to it, they are lucky people, because one of the things that it starts with Russell, that his heart is so, Russell Brunson, if I'm guessing most of your community knows who he is, but his heart is so big and so pure, and that it attracts so many people around him. And whether it's as an employee, as a user, as just somebody who wants to be in the community, they're those types of people. And that's the category that you fit into. It's how can I help, how can I serve, and what can I do to change people's lives.
Thank you. And yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Robbie's referencing Russell Brunson, but I know many of you who are listening, you know, he's an incredible leader in the industry, especially the marketing industry, that his voice does rise above a lot of the noise with the message of a heart to serve. To grow so you can give more, which aligns with a lot of what we're doing here on Amplify and what we teach in the coaching and on the agency side. So Rob, before we dive deep into just, I think, the mindset of sales, I think overall, can you share with us just a little bit of your background and how you got here? Because I think it's very, very important, because you have to me, from what I know about you, and I know I'm going to get to learn some more, but you just have at your core, a heart to serve. And I think that pours into everything that you do. And it's just one other great example of how, our life circumstances and our experiences pour into and mold us into who we are now.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And it has to I really think it goes back to, and it's not just sales, it's success just in general with everything that you're doing, that there is no way for me to see success in any part of the world anywhere if the only person that I have contact with, that I come in touch with, that I'm worried about is myself. That in nobody's definition, whether it's politics or religion or business or family life or whatever it is, it always has to be about other people. And that's where real true success and real true impact comes in people's lives, is when I look at it and I think, how can I put this person there, who they are, how can I put those ahead? How can I make sure that that I'm looking out for them and their best interests? And sometimes that's really hard, because if you're in sales, or you're running, as an entrepreneur, and you're looking at it and you're like, hey, I've got to make payroll this week. I've got to pay the mortgage. And if I get this sale right now, that's going to cover X, Y, Z. And now all of a sudden that it becomes about you and about the things that you need rather than the things that the other person needs. And so if I'm looking at it, hey, how can I look at this in my business, in my life, in my sales, as how can I get out there? How can I serve people? It's something that you have to do all the time. And for me, I would say I've been doing sales for 31 years. The first time I ever did sales, I was 11 years old, and I told my dad I wanted to go to a Boy Scout camp. And my dad's like, that's awesome. And I said, okay, hey Dad, it's going to be like $200 or something. And he's like, cool. How are you going to pay for it? Well, I was telling you it was $200 and you're going to pay for it for me, right?
Yes.
And yeah, like that was my thought process, right? And he's like, well, no, I'm not gonna do that. If you want to do it, you need to find a way to. I'm like 11 years old. Like, who makes money at 11 years old, right? And I told my dad that, and so in his wisdom, what he said is, he ran an electrical wholesale distributor. Like, they sell wire and conduit and light bulbs and things like that. And he said, hey, there's a lot of businesses in this town that need light bulbs. They all need light bulbs. Why don't you go around to all the businesses in town and see who you can sell light bulbs to? And so I got on my 10-speed bicycle and I pedaled around this little town and walked into these businesses and said, I'm selling light bulbs to go to Boy Scout camp. Do you want to buy some? And it was 3 or 4 days, I'd sold enough light bulbs, made enough profit to be able to pay for my Boy Scout camp and to be able to go. And so that's kind of where it started. But the shift for me from really looking at it as a point and a place of impact, there's a book, it's called Leadership and Self-Deception. If you haven't read it, I'm a voracious reader. I love reading, and it's one of my favorite things to do in learning and growing. And read that book, and it's a short book. It's an easy read, and it changed my mind and my perception in so many different ways. That if I'm looking at how can I help, how can I serve, how can I make it about the other person, and if I can look at things from their point of view rather than mine, and that is such a hard thing to do. But if you can do that in business, with your employees, with your managers, if you do that with your spouse, with your kids, it's such a hard thing to say, hey, I want to put my wants and my needs on the back burner for somebody else. But when you do that, really, really good things happen.
I think you just made an incredible point. Saying and doing It's one thing, and I feel like that's my soapbox for Amplify My Impact. A lot of people say they want to do good things in the world and that they want to make an impact, but only a small percentage of them actually do. And I think that's the magic, the magic middle there that you said, if you want to do this and you actually doing things, that creates pretty magical and special things to come into your path.
It's so true. And sometimes this drives people crazy. So like anybody, when you're looking like at a disc test that's an S or a C personality, that we go by a motto at ClickFunnels: ready, fire, aim. And that it's all about, hey, get ready, fire, go take action. And then if you need to aim, hone in, get a little bit closer to the target, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. And sometimes that can really drive people crazy. My wife is total SC on the disc. And I'm total DI. Like we couldn't be more polar opposites on things. And that ready, fire, aim is so hard for her and for me to sit down and, hey, let's plan and let's organize. And that way, when it goes a lot better. And so, but if you don't take that action, if you don't fire at some point in time, nothing gets done. And I can plan and I can, I can write copy, but if I never put my copy out anywhere, I can say, I've got my list of books that I want to read, but I never go to the library or I never get them off of Amazon. If I say I'm going to build this funnel and I know what my funnel is going to look like and I draw it out and I might even build it out, but I never launch it because that color on that headline isn't perfect or whatever it is, it really is. It's taking imperfect action is so much better than perfect inaction.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like it's a pretty fair statement to share, because I even experienced this, and we've had conversations in launching Amplify where, I was like, Robbie, I have no problem with imperfect action. I have no problem creating this. I have no problem serving. I have no, like all of these little check boxes, check. And then I get back down to the sales part. Right. So I think when we look at that, sometimes just the sales in and of itself is that obstacle, like the one that everyone sort of like, when you talk about ready, fire, aim, that's the one that's like the blockage there.
So stop calling it sales. So like grab your checklist, your worksheet that says, okay, we're ready to sell. Don't call it sales. Call it, hey, I'm ready to start really helping people out.
Awesome.
And now all of a sudden, because if I don't charge anything for my superpowers, for my genius, and everybody has them. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody has those superpowers, that genius that they've got in their hearts and their minds that they can share. If you don't put a value on it, nobody else will either. So if I'm saying, hey, I've got all this great sales experience and all these great tools and skills and things that I can do, and I'm just giving it all away for free, it's worth $0. There's no value. The other thing too that is, it blows my mind that and a couple of examples. So we have our one funnel away challenge at ClickFunnels, and it's $100 and it is like 30 days worth of the most amazing coaching training, walking people through building the funnel. It's awesome. And sometimes, like as a hey, somebody's having problems with something, they need some help, maybe they're wanting to cancel their ClickFunnels account, we will pay for, we'll cover the cost of them going through the one funnel away challenge. Guess what happens with those people?
Oh, you're spot on. Yeah, they don't take action.
They don't do anything because there is no value there for them. And so if I'm looking at it and I'm saying my goal is really to help to serve people to change their lives, if that's really what I want to do, then you have to charge money. Otherwise, they're not going to do it. But let me give you one other example. And because I love high ticket sales. They are the coolest, most awesome thing in the world, because that's the place and the way that you can serve and help out your community at the highest level. Because generally, especially if you're dealing with a coaching or a mentoring or a training program or something, generally at your highest ticket level of sales, that they are getting the most access to the guru, to the expert, whatever it is. And the reason they get that is because that's the place that you can serve them the best. I've been working with Russell Brunson since 2008, long before it was even ClickFunnels. And we had a coaching program that we were out there that we were working, and we were selling this coaching program for $5,000. And we were killing it. We were getting so many sales. The problem is that when it went over to the fulfillment, to the coaching, these people that we brought in were taking, call it their last $5,000. They didn't have anything else. They thought that the coaching program was going to be their golden parachute in the world. And they were the biggest pain in the neck for the fulfillment. And Russell was looking at it and he was like, okay, this is dumb. This isn't worth our time, our energy, our effort. And I was like, well, it's not a big deal to me because I sell them and they go over to fulfillment. I don't deal with them anymore, right? I was like, well, I don't know what the problem is, Russell. And he said, hey, we're going to double the price of the coaching program. I'm like, okay, so, but what are we going to change? He's like, nothing. We're just going to double the price. He's like, yes. And I said, okay, well, we can do that. And we went out there, and so we were getting the same number of sales, but what happened to all my commissions? Because we doubled the cost, my commissions doubled. So that was great for me. But the other thing that happened is we went from a $5,000 program to a $10,000 program. The quality of our people skyrocketed. And maybe it wasn't the quality of the people. Maybe that's a bad term. But if I invest $10,000 into something, I am sure as heck going to follow through and do whatever that person tells me to do. And now all of a sudden, these people in our coaching program are having better success stories, more success. That it's going up and up and up, all their successes, because they were more invested. They had bought more in, and like I said, I don't like better quality person, but the person was more ready to move forward.
Yeah, I was going to say their level of readiness of execution and implementation of what you're teaching them to do.
Yes.
You know, there's that word again, do. You know, it's that willingness to take action. So yeah, I totally understand what you're saying there. It may even be better quality of mindset, where it's like this is an investment in me, and I equally have to put in what I'm going to get out of it, not just that expectation of I'm going to pay this, like you said, that golden parachute. I'm going to pay this money and everything's going to automatically be okay.
You're spot on. Well, and if you, because I know how much you want to serve and help and bless your community. Like you have the coolest, biggest heart on the planet. And I love that about you. And if you don't charge people, they're not going to do the work. And if your goal and your mission is to help people, you have to charge them. And so you charging them money and having a transaction there, all you're doing is helping them out, which is what your goal is entirely. And so if you'll walk into it and you'll say, I'm not going to sell anybody today. I'm just going to go into it and I'm going to help and I'm going to serve people at the highest level. And I'm going to see what happens. You will be amazed at what happens to your bank account, to your sales, to your success, to all those things. If you'll put that other person first, how can I help them? How can I serve them? I don't want to sell them. I want to serve them. I want to help them. Everything changes. Have that paradigm shift, that mind shift. It will do amazing things for you.
I love it. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Robbie. So I want to tiptoe back a little bit to your days. And so you shared your story of your first experience with sales. Was that it for you? Like, was that it when you realized I love this, or were there other sort of paths along your journey?
At 11 years old, it didn't necessarily dawn on me that it was sales. It was just, I mean, really for me, it was all about me, and it was a way for me to get to Boy Scout camp. And so, but over the course of, growing up and things like that, I tried and I did a lot of different things. I lived in a farming community, and I worked out on the farm. I worked at as a delivery boy at a furniture place. And I did a lot of things like that. But it was always out and around people. And so it wasn't necessarily, hey, I've got to do sales, but I just knew and I understood that God's greatest creation on the planet. So many people are like, holy cow, God's greatest creation is going to the beach or to the mountains or to nature. And don't get me wrong, I love all those things, top to bottom, but God's greatest creation is us. I mean, he waited till the last day to make humans. And what happened is he started out with us, that the men were the rough draft. Okay. And then he perfected it with the beautiful women.
That's awesome.
But I knew that I loved people and I wanted to be around them. I served a 2-year mission for my church, and on any level, and I'm sure that you guys have all seen like Mormon missionaries riding their bikes and suits and backpacks around. It's the craziest, weirdest thing on the planet that we do that. But we're out there, and you're knocking doors, and you're saying, hey, I hate using the word sell religion, but really in reality, it's, I have something that I feel can help people out, and I want to share it with them. And so I'm out there and I want to share my message with the world, and I want to help them to have what I have. And right back to, hey, when I get stumped on my checklist of sales, hey, change that to today's the day that I'm helping people out, and this is my process for helping people out. And after that, it just kind of snowballed. I worked on at a factory on a production line for about 6 months, and I was in like a smock suit, like in a clean room, and I couldn't have found something that was more against who I am and what I did. Here in Boise, it's called Micron, and lots of people work there, and so it's just like, oh, let's go and work for Micron. That's what everybody does in Boise, and it was hell on earth for me to sit in there by myself and pushing a button and moving the semiconductor wafers from one place to another place. And I knew that I wanted to be around people. And so after that, and I realized that wasn't the right place for me, I went and did a internship in college of doing summer sales pest control. And I was out knocking doors, and I was selling pest control to people, and did fantastic. As I was 21 years old, and in 3 months, I'm from Idaho. I'm living in California, right by the beach. I made 40 grand and blew every penny of it. I had a blast. We just played and played and played for it was crazy. I was like, this is home for me. Doing sales, being around people. This is the place that I want to be. That I can help and I can serve and I can do good things and provide for my family and my lifestyle and the things that I want to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you were, I personally know you, and I think not only, yes, you are completely gifted at sales, but I think your true superpower is seeing the value in people. And I think you're an incredible judge of character, not only to see where you can step up and serve, but like just the depth that you can communicate with people, and also that integrity of, how can I serve them? Because it may not be necessarily my product that I'm serving them with. Like, you're still thinking outside of how you can serve them always. And I think that's the one thing that's so special and incredible about you, because not a lot of people are like that. They're very singular focused, and you have a level of self-awareness and empathy that is just incredible. So can you tell us a little bit about that point where, take us up to 2008, like, how did you meet Russell? How did you guys start working together? And was there like this, clouds parting, angels singing, like, oh, this is what I want to do forever moment?
Well, so when I got, so I got done doing pest control, got home, I met my wife, married my wife, and what was looking for a better job than what I had, and found an ad in a newspaper where it said, "Hey, basically what it said is our people make well into the six figures for the best salespeople." This was in 2001, so it was long before I'd met Russell. I'm like, hey, that's six-figure salary for a 23-year-old guy that's just barely married and wife is pregnant and kid on the way. That 100 grand's that's a good living, and if other people can do it, I can. And so I responded to a newspaper ad and walked in, and that was really my first exposure to a high ticket sale and really understanding the process behind it. And I spent years and hours learning, training, perfecting, trying to become better, and doing all these things to work on it and to make sure that I'd perfected and honed my craft. So this is going on. I'm living in Utah, and 2008, or it was Christmas break, 2007 comes around. And my brother, who's just older than me, he responded to a newspaper ad working. He was living in Boise, responded to a newspaper ad working for Russell. And he said he was talking to one of the other guys that was running the Russell sales team. He said, "Hey, you should really get my little brother up here and come and work with us." And so he connected with me, and I met Russell for, I don't know, it was maybe 5 minutes, and we talked, and there was no like parting of the clouds or anything, or anything at all like that. It was, and Russell's very, very, for the most part, especially one-on-one, is very, very even keel most of the time. Unless you're wrestling him, and I beat him in wrestling, then he's not so even keel. But anyhow, so we talked for a minute and figured it out, and I moved my family from Utah up to Boise, and started working, and we built a sales floor to 60 people, and it was awesome and wonderful, and everything crashed one day. It was crazy, and so we had to go out and we had to do something different. And I left with what Russell was doing. There was no more leads coming in, and went and did some other things. And Russell and I, we left on fairly good terms. I looking back, I wished I would have done it a little bit different, but it was about a year and a half. And we stayed in contact. We called, and Russell had started to get some more leads in, and he had a couple of sales guys, a guy and a girl, and called me up and said, "Hey, Robbie, I've got these guys that they've been working with me, and they've been doing this for 2 months, and they haven't made a single sale. I'm kind of at my wit's end. Will you come in and see if you can do anything at all with them? Because if you can't, we're just going to shut it down, and I'm going to get rid of the high ticket stuff. I'm just going to go, hey, under $100 products, and we're just going to run with that. Maybe $1,000 course or something, but everything that he can sell totally completely online." And I came in, and I spent, it was about 4 hours with Troy and Kimberly. Sat down, talked to them, helped them out, trained them, walked them through their calls, what they need to be doing on their sales process, on their sales calls, and get done. That was on a Friday, leave on Friday. And Saturday at about, it's about 3:00 in the afternoon, Russell calls me up. And I guess this is probably where the parting of the clouds came in. And he's like, "Dude, you are never going to believe what just happened." I was like, "Oh, cool. They finally got like a $2,000 sale." And he's like, "Robbie, we've done $37,000 in sales today."
Wow.
And it was, they Troy and Kimberly, they had the personal skills, the work ethic, they had those things. They just needed some extra tools in their tool belt. What was funny too is They watched my training because Russell had some training recorded on me. They watched the training and they still didn't get it. They sat down with me. They spent 4 hours. And my next thing to Russell was, gosh, dude, I didn't charge you enough. He was like, yeah, too late. We've already committed to it. So,
That's funny.
yeah, but that was the place and the point. So there was a little bit of a gap there from 2008 to now, but there is a way to work with people, and the easiest way in the world for me to explain the way to go through a successful sales process is I've got to find out, number one, what is it that the person that I'm talking to, my prospect, what is it that they want? What's their goal? What's their vision? What's their dreams? Where do they want to be? So that's number one. I've got to have my starting point. Number two, I've got to find out where they want to be. I've got to have a finish line. So where are you at right now? What's the hard things, the things that stink in your life, the things that you're struggling with? Okay, where do you want to be? What's going to happen when all those things are gone? And what's going to help you to get rid of those problems, those struggles that you have in your life? And then the last part of it is for me to have integrity with myself and the customer. Does my product, my service, does it bridge that gap? And if it does bridge the gap, then it's my moral obligation to help them to understand how my product or my service bridges that gap. And bridging that gap is usually the least amount of time that I ever spend on a sales call. It's always, hey, where are you at right now? Who are you? What's going on in your life? Tell me about yourself. And if somebody's not willing to open up with me and get emotional, and that doesn't mean I'm like sobbing and bawling on the phone, which that happens sometimes, but if somebody's not really willing to open up and say, this is where I'm at right now, I can't help you. If I don't know where you're at and the obstacles and the struggles that you have right now, there's no possible way I can help you.
Yeah.
And if I don't know where you want to be, I can't help you get there. And when somebody says, I want to make more money, well, duh. Like, why do you want to make more money? What's that going to do? How's that going to bless your family? Help the community? How's that going to help the people around you? And I dig into their goals and I find those. And then it becomes really easy to say, hey guys, this is how ClickFunnels bridges that gap for you from start to finish.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What an amazing story. I appreciate that so much. And not only that, but like wrapping up the interview with essentially like your 4 points of every sales call. Like, this is what I have to know. This is what I have to walk away from. And I really love the point that you shared there, where there is that personal relationship. There is that point of vulnerability, because we really can't help and serve if we really don't understand what the root cause of the problem is, or what that core desire really is. Because if not, it's all just surface level. And it is sort of like what you said when you mentioned earlier. They had watched your course. So they had heard it, right? But they didn't hear it until you figured out where they were filtering it from. Then they really heard and received the coaching and put it into action. And I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing just your heart and your talents with us. Do you have anything that you want to use as final thoughts, or, where can we continue to connect with you? Like, when is the book on sales from Robbie Summers coming out? Like, what's going on here? What's the future look like for you?
Awesome question. So my heart and soul is with ClickFunnels right now. I do occasionally, and very, very limited, do some sales consulting, and but for me the biggest thing is, if you want to connect with me, if you want to be a part, come to ClickFunnels, come spend time there. I reach out and I help out as much as I can in the Facebook groups, and to just see where I can serve. And it's funny because I'll be going through the ClickFunnels official page, and somebody will have a question about doing a high ticket sale, or what do you do here? How do you put this together? How do you put commissions together? And I do whatever I can to try and answer those the best that I can, and help out and serve. And really for me, my goal and my vision is, when you look at things by myself, there's only so much you can do, but you team up with amazing people like Russell and Dave Woodward and Todd Dickerson and Brent Copeters and John Parks, that all these amazing things happen to take things to the next level. And because, you know, one and one doesn't make two when you combine people together, that you get two awesome, motivated people with the same vision, that it makes 4 or 10. And I think of you and Jorge and what you guys are doing. And it's not just like, hey, you got your skill set and Jorge's got his. It's, no, you guys are taking those and combining together, and it doesn't add, it multiplies. And so for me, my goal, my focus, my vision right now is 100% on building and growing ClickFunnels and making it a place that to give people a tool and a place in the education to just serve them at a really, really high level. In Funnel Flicks, just so everybody knows, if you do have ClickFunnels and you're on the platinum account with ClickFunnels, Funnel Flicks is there, and it has my high ticket secrets course in there. We actually redid the entire course this summer and added a lot of awesome stuff to it. And obviously I'm definitely biased to it, but the people that have been through it have said that in and of itself has made them thousands and thousands of dollars with the things that Funnel Flicks or with that course has taught them. And so if somebody's saying, hey, I want more help on sales and high ticket training, and I want help from Robbie, I go to ClickFunnels, sign up for a platinum account, and go into the Funnel Flicks. And that's just one course. It's high ticket secrets. There is so much more information and knowledge and education. It's unbelievable. That's part of what Russell gives away as the software.
Yeah. I think, if you guys have if this is the only time you've spent with Robbie, you can tell the integrity and the level that he gives. But yeah, I will echo that same thing. That is one of the best things that Russell's been able to put together. And he is just known for leading with value, having a heart for service, and over delivering in everything that he does. So it's just been so incredible to spend time with you. And you are such an incredible human, an incredible soul. So thank you. If you guys are listening, we'll make sure all of the resources, and Robbie did recommend a couple of books, so we'll be sure to put those into the show notes and everything like that. And yeah, I think I love the way that you highlighted the further we can get together. It's like that African proverb where, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's definitely a huge theme on season 2 for Amplify My Impact. We were just talking to someone earlier today, Jorge and I, about the power of partnerships that a lot of people may not necessarily understand or welcome the power of partnerships just because maybe they've had a bad experience in the past, or they don't necessarily understand how to leverage it. But I think you put it so beautifully when it's like, it's not addition, it's multiplication. And that's the beautiful thing when you align with the right people who stand in integrity, and you've got that strength and mission and vision, it becomes unstoppable. And that's what we're really building with Amplify My Impact. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for contributing to that. You're amazing, Robbie. We love you. We thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you so much. Love you guys. And your community is so lucky to have you guys, you leading them. What a lucky place and a lucky community. So thank you. And if I can do anything to help out anybody, please reach out and let me know.
Thanks. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope you've received value, encouragement, and exactly what you need to help keep you in momentum to grow and impact the world around you. Big or small, we all make a difference. Thanks also for subscribing, downloading, and leaving a review. This helps us reach others who need this message in their life. If you know anyone who would benefit from this podcast, please share so you and I can help more people boldly step into purpose. It is my heart's mission to help and encourage others. My internal belief that a rising tide lifts all ships. So much of what we talk about on the podcast is leading with value and building relationships through service. So we've created a collection of resources for you to continue growing, whether you are just getting started or ready to scale your business. Visit amplifymyimpact.com for show notes, downloads, programs, and more information about how to directly work with our team to amplify your impact and change the world.